I want to turn to a guest that we have here in the studio. If you're like me and obsessed with Orange is the New Black, you likely will recognize Maritza. She is actress Diane Guerrero, but what you probably don't know is the heartbreaking story behind her, well, her real life. Both her parents and her older brother were deported from the U.S. to Colombia when she was just 14 years old. She opened up about her experience. She wrote a terrific op-ed that was published in the Los Angeles Times. Diane is here with me now. Thank you so much for coming. There are a lot of people debating this issue on the Hill, across the country, in coffee shops, everywhere. But this is something that is very, very close to you. 14 years old. Do you remember that day like it was yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think about it all the time.
Tell me about that day. What happened? You come home and you find the kitchen empty.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, as I said in my letter, I would always have like this feeling, I was always scared that my parents were going to be gone, that I was going to come home one day.
You were aware of their uncertain immigration status.
I mean, it would remind me every day. I mean, my dad had like this whole system, you know, here's where I hide this in case anything happens, and you know, don't be scared, and know that you're going to be okay, and that we love you very much, and that we wish that this situation was different for us, but this is our reality. So yeah, that day I had this feeling. I remember I called my parents a million times. I was coming home from school, and I was really excited because around that time, I went to a performance arts high school, so around that time we were planning Spring Fest, which was like, you know, everyone was getting their parts and their singing roles, and I was really excited because this was my first year, and I really was excited to tell them about it. And I got home, and their cars were there, and dinner was started, and the lights were on, but I couldn't find them, so it was really hard. It was really hard. And then the neighbors came in,
and that's how you found out that they were gone? The neighbors told you?
They were just like, I'm so sorry, but your parents were taken away. And
what did that feel like? That seems to be every child's worst nightmare, that your family is taken from you.
Yeah. I broke down, you know. I remember I hid under the bed because I was afraid that somebody was going to come for me. I don't know who that someone was, but I was just so scared. You know, it's like, what do you do? And then I'm so scared for them. It's like what they're going through. You know, my parents are going to jail, and for what? You know, I didn't consider them criminals.
How long did it take for you to understand where they were? Because they were gone. The neighbors came over and told you that immigration had come and taken them away.
Yeah.
How much of a timeline? What was the timeline of when you then found out where they were?
Well, a few hours later of just waiting there, and the neighbors were at home with me, I called my friends and their parents. I was very close to them, and they knew my parents' situation as well. And I called them. They came over immediately, and they were just sitting there waiting for calls. And then finally I got a call from my dad, and he said that he was being detained, and then my mother called. They were separated.
I think no matter what side of this whole debate you're on, I think it's really troubling to know that you talk about this quite openly in your letter, that no government official, no government agency reached out to make sure that you were okay. No. You basically relied on the kindness of strangers to get you through high school, to go on to college, and fast forward. Yeah. Do you see your parents today? You're a few years older now. Yeah. It's been a few years since you graduated.
It's been a few years since it happened.
What's the status of your parents and your sibling? You have a brother.
Yeah, I have a brother, Eddie. They are in Colombia right now. I talk to them not every day, but we talk.
Do you go there?
I go there once a year.
How is that?
It's tough. You know, it's like, we've been separated for so long. I feel like sometimes we don't know each other. It's difficult because I've grown up without them, and there's things about them that are new that I don't recognize, and it hurts. But I love them so much, and I just hate that they have gone through this. And I know I've been by myself, but I feel like they have lived a very lonely existence. Sorry. Themselves. So
there are a lot of people debating this very contentious issue right now. The president is set to potentially sign an executive order.
Yeah.
Is that what led you to write this open letter?
Yes.
What do you want to have happen? What do you want to see? Because there are going to be people, Diane, that will say, look, we have laws in this nation. Yeah. And for people to jump ahead and have a legal way to stay here ahead of all those people who have done things the legal way, or people that sneak across the border in the dead of night, that's not fair. That's completely unfair. What do you say to those people?
Well, I think that we all came from somewhere. And I think that everyone has their own personal story. And I don't think that everyone who's coming here is in search for a better life. And I think that people like my family started out trying to do things the legal way, but it is so, what people don't realize, that it is so difficult for some people to get documented and to get their papers and to become legal. And my parents tried forever, and this system didn't offer relief for them. And what I'm asking for is to create or find a solution for families.
You say in that letter, not one more family should be separated by deportation. So what if the president isn't successful in doing what you want? What happens?
I say we keep the conversation going, we keep trying, and I think a lot of Americans, I think most Americans want comprehensive immigration reform. I think people don't want to see families separated. I don't think people want to just deport everyone, and that's the solution. That's not a solution. What about me? What about us? The kids who stay here without their families, and
there's scores of you out there.
Yeah, there's tons of us, and there are worst case scenarios and there are best case scenarios. I consider myself in the best case scenario because I was able to come through, and I have challenges every day, and I go through stuff every day, but I'm able to be here with you talking about what I want to see happen, but there are so many kids that
don't have that voice. And hopefully you can keep speaking for them, Diane.
I hope so too.
Diane Guerrero, that's a very personal story that you've shown us. This is your story.
Yes.
Again, doesn't matter what side of the debate you're on, this is your reality and what you and your family have had to live with, being divided like that. Columbia to the United States. Thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you for having me.
And for being here.
Thank you.
Allison?
Yeah, Michaela, always nice to hear a personal story. It really brings it home for everyone.